My fellow Nigerians, as your future president and as a big supporter of Peter Obi to be our president in 2027, I am here today to defend him from two recent attacks by Governor Soludo of Anambra State. First, speaking at a campaign rally on Saturday, August 2, in a veiled attack at Obi, Soludo said any politician pledging to serve only one term in office needs to undergo a psychiatric test. Soludo clearly said that mainly to try to weaken Obi's growing appeal in the north, because of course, with Bola Tinubu in his first term, Obi's one-term pledge, based on his emphasis about seeking the presidency for the public good only, will surely also assuage the anxieties of northerners who feel that power must return to the north in 2031. Thankfully, Obi has replied to Soludo and reiterated the sacrosanctness of his one-term vow. Obi posted on social media yesterday saying, and I quote, "One of the greatest American presidents, Abraham Lincoln, served only 4 years, yet his legacy endures as a model of principled leadership. In Africa, Nelson Mandela, revered globally as a symbol of justice and reconciliation, chose to serve only one term as president of South Africa, despite immense pressure to stay longer." End of quote. Obi added that, and I quote, 48 months is enough for any leader who is focused and prepared to make a meaningful difference. End of quote. In fact, Obi first made the one-term pledge in 2022, that meaning before the 2023 election. In May 2022, Ruben Abati, speaking on Arise TV, said, and I quote, "During Obi's nationwide delegates campaign tour, Obi stated that he only needs 4 years to fix Nigeria." End of quote. So yes, Peter Obi is really serious about this, and for good reason. Second, on July 17, Soludo's revenue service, in a so-called fact check posted on social media, accused Obi of lying when he said on Arise TV back in June that the Sapmila brewery he invested in is the biggest revenue earner in Anambra State. In trying to discredit Obi, Soludo actually proved him right. If you listen to the interview, Obi was clearly talking about investments attracted to the state, and he even emphasized that he went through a lot to attract Sapmila to Anambra. All the 5 banks mentioned by Soludo's revenue service as coming ahead of Sapmila are headquartered in Lagos and should normally exist in every Nigerian state by default. So it is a shame that Soludo and his revenue service failed to grasp the context in which Obi spoke. That just goes to show their desperation to attack Obi. And by the way, banks don't actually produce anything, certainly not directly. So if banks are the highest revenue earners in your state, then you're certainly not a competent governor. The fact that 11 years after Obi left office, neither of his successors, Willie Obiano, a finance expert, and now Charles Chukwuma Soludo, a former CBN governor, has facilitated the setting up of a business that generates more revenue than what he, Obi, facilitated, goes to show how sustainable that investment was. In fact, note also that Obi played a major role in the success of Innocent in Anambra State. Today, we all rightly celebrate Innocent, Nigeria's first and largest indigenous vehicle manufacturer headquartered in Anambra State, but not many know that Obi, as governor, played a key role in the establishment and early growth of the company. Indeed, in a November 2021 media chat, Innocent Chukwuma, the Innocent chairman, said Obi inspired him to manufacture SUVs and pickup vans to meet up with demand from his administration. Chukwuma noted that Obi ordered 500 SUVs, 700 buses, and 500 pickup vans, and that he paid in advance, moves which of course greatly boosted the company's fortunes. Chukwuma added that when Obi was criticized for that, with fears that the Innocent vehicles wouldn't be durable, he stood by him and charged him to prove the naysayers wrong. This isn't the first time Soludo has sought to minimize the worth of Obi's Sapmila investment. Before the 2023 elections, Soludo on Channels TV said, and I quote, "The value of those investments," meaning investments like Sapmila, "is worth next to nothing." End of quote. How can an investment that generated 650 million naira in revenue between 2023 and 2024 be worth next to nothing? Making a point against Soludo's claim on X, finance analyst Kalu Ajah wrote, and I quote, "A public officer," meaning Obi, "took state funds and invested in the state. The so-called fact check confirms that the funds were invested and are indeed yielding a dividend for the people of Anambra. This example of proper stewardship of taxpayer funds should be studied in policy and business schools." End of quote. Ultimately, this issue proves that Obi means business when he says he wants to move Nigeria from consumption to production. In fact, Soludo's attacks on Obi's Sapmila investment have instead further proven Obi's capacity to help create companies and industries that will outlive his administration and add great value to our economy. My fellow Nigerians, Soludo is clearly very jealous of Obi's ever-rising popularity and momentum. At the celebration of Soludo's first anniversary as governor in Awka, the Anambra State capital, Obi walked in during Soludo's speech and the crowd went wild, forcing him to pause and recognize Obi's entry, something he clearly didn't like, going by his body language. Soludo is also very vindictive. In January 2015, writing through her special advisor on media, then coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said, and I quote, "There is definitely an issue of character with Charles Soludo and his desperate search for power and relevance in Nigeria. Nigerians should beware of so-called intellectuals without character and wisdom because this combination is fatal." End of quote. Obi's popularity and momentum come from his proven leadership qualities and humanitarian acts, especially in health and education. And that's why he is, in my opinion, the best and most compelling presidential candidate nationally since at least the start of the Fourth Republic in 1999. By extension, Obi is also the best presidential candidate to ever come from the Southeast, and it will clearly be good for Nigeria's national unity for someone from that region to become president as soon as possible. So why is Soludo attacking Obi? Soludo wants to be president using the Southeast version of Tinubu's Emiloko. So, of course, an Obi presidency will be a major threat to his plan, especially because he considers himself a professor and a former CBN governor as superior to Obi. But my fellow Nigerians, I'll keep making the strong case for Obi's 2027 presidency because he is indeed the man we need. May God bless and protect Peter Obi, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.